Hey guys, Omni here. We're going to be diving into New Rockstar's breakdown of episode 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Unlike the first episode, which was mostly setup, I felt like this last episode could do with some enlightening upon. You know, like I've said in the reaction, I'm not as familiar with these sets of characters in this world and everybody being introduced to this compared to the mutants, Spider-Man, and all of that. A lot of the Marvel universe that we've seen tinkered with outside of the mutants and Spider-Man has kind of become, it's more like I'm being informed by the MCU for the most part, because I never really branched out into the wider Marvel universe outside of the Ultimate Alliance video games and of course the Spider-Man and the 90s Spider-Man and X-Men stuff. That was my introduction to the Marvel universe. And I never really got outside of that for the most part until really the MCU started like hammering into my life. So yeah, so I'd love to hear some of these thoughts from good old Eric over at New Rockstars. If you're not subscribed, go check them out. So we're going to be diving into this episode. This one's not as long as some of the other videos, so it's going to be go by a little quicker. So let's go ahead and pull it up and give it a go. Here we go.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2, The Star-Spangled Man, in which nearly every Avenger gets a mention, even Avengers the government didn't want us to know about. I'm going to break down this episode for all the interesting details that you might have missed. And special thanks to today's sponsor, Wondershare Filmora 10. Stick around to hear how you can use Filmora 10 to make your own video content. Okay, so last episode I pointed out how the opening close-ups of Sam ironing that black suit gave us some major funeral vibes, as Sam did hope to entomb Cap's shield in the museum. And the opening image of this episode used his wardrobe similarly, with a close-up of that zipper going down like a body bag, opening up to reveal a corpse inside, which metaphorically it is kind of the corpse of Steve Rogers' legacy. Sam wanted to lay it to rest. John Walker is kind of Frankensteining it back to life, and quite
That's an interesting way to put it.
This whole locker room scene paints a sympathetic picture of Walker.
Everybody in the world expects me to be something, and I don't want to fail them.
Good morning, America. Yeah, I get you, John. Good Morning America can be quite a nerve-wracking thing to do. Also, does GMA being in the MCU now make me MCU canon by extension? Walker's buddy here is Lamar Hoskins, aka Battlestar. So in the comics, John Walker started as Super Patriot, kind of an asshole replacement Cap. And he's accompanied by bold urban commandos, or Buckies, including Hoskins. Walker ends up getting the Cap title. He goes crazy, kills a bunch of people, and eventually the government makes him U.S. agent, whose uniform actually looks a lot like what Walker wears here. This episode makes it seem like they could have decent intentions, despite clues pointing otherwise.
2 weeks ago, we're prepping the team for a special ops mission in Chile, and now this.
It's been a lot of handshakes, a lot of suits, a lot of speeches and senator meetings.
Now remember, Bucky just busted Senator Atwood, former Hydra operative, which seemed like a one-off thing, except the end credits included a missable headline about Senator Atwood pushing for border enforcement. I don't know, maybe this senator was pushing Walker to round up border crossers. And then that mission in Chile, the last time we saw a special ops team in South America, it was led by a super soldier sent by Thaddeus Ross, who also might be behind all of this. His name appeared in the end credits with a mention of Enhanced Humans Act. Now, Hoskins mentioned the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, which is this episode's title, and the marching band music is that same Star-Spangled Man with a Plan from Cap's War Bonds tour in the first Cap film. This is all a modern version of that same original Cap publicity tour, down to signing collectibles. Custer's Grove High School. Custer's Grove is the hometown of John Walker in the comics. It's also where the extremist group, the Watchdogs, try to kill Walker and then end up getting his parents killed, making him go berserk. The GMA interviewer says,
"The government did a study of your body at MIT, and you tested off the charts in every measurable category: speed, endurance, intelligence."
Look, here's the thing. I'm not Tony Stark, I'm not Dr. Banner.
Then we see shots of him with a punching bag, recalling Cap with the punching bag in Avengers, and then footage of him with the shield, a shield that he would have just gotten, meaning his coordination must be abnormally good. That might actually be why Walker cuts her off when she is talking about his freaky physiology. I think he and Hoskins might have already been given super soldier serum. Interesting how Walker's suit design positions the A with wings logo so that it bleeds over onto the shoulder strap, so that the look is only complete if he is suited up perfectly. Unlike Steve Rogers, who was able to rip his logo off his shoulder and still function in the suit, this guy is a manufactured hero restrained by the government he has to represent with this iconography. Bucky and Sam talk about the big three.
I have a feeling they might be a part of the big three.
What big three?
The big three.
Loved
What big
this
three?
scene, man.
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
Androids for Ultron, aliens for Thanos and his army, wizards presumably for Loki. I mean, Sam wasn't part of the Avengers yet, but remember, Loki learned his sorcery from Frigga, an Asgardian witch. Also, this does take place 5 months after WandaVision. Sam could be also referencing the threat of the witches of Westview, which is going to come back to the MCU in Multiverse of Madness. And then Bucky says,
So who are you
Well, there's our
fighting now,
timeline.
Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937.
I love
when it
this.
first came out.
yeah, Bucky just checked him with
Understood that reference.
he's such a nerd. I love it. And then after a staring contest on the plane, they argue.
Enjoy your ride, Buck.
No, you can't call me that.
Why not? That's what Steve called you.
Steve knew me longer, and Steve had a plan. What is it?
Only Cap can call him Buck, just like Scott Lang with Cap. Only friends are in the one syllable club. Now, being the man with the plan is really the key here. The titular song in this episode is that Captain America was the Star-Spangled Man with the plan. On the Avengers, Cap was really the one who called the shots. He always had the plan. So really the conflict among these four Cap successors is as much over who has the best plan as it is whoever has the shield. Sam's plan here is kind of what Cap did in Captain America Winter Soldier, just dive out of a plane without a chute. I love how Bucky's like, yeah, I can do it, but then he definitely gets nervous about it and falls pretty hilariously. As they snoop on the Flag Smasher, Sam says,
Little time in Wakanda and you come out White Panther.
It's actually White Wolf.
Huh?
yeah, remember after Civil War, Bucky rested in Wakanda, and in Black Panther, local Wakandan kids nicknamed him the White Wolf. White Wolf, aka Hunter, is a separate character in the comics, leading the Wakandan secret police. Bucky owns up to this title, despite not really gearing up until the Battle of Wakanda in Infinity War. So in what other ways did he assist Shuri and T'Challa to earn this title? Flag Smasher Carly Morgenthau is played by Erin Kellyman, the Cloud Rider Empress Nest in Solo.
Oh, that's
gets
why
her
she
name
looks
from
so
the character
familiar.
Flag
I
Smasher
knew
Carl
I've
Morgenthau
seen
in
her
the comics,
somewhere.
and she is strong. She breaks Red Wing. But if you think about it, this actually does Sam a favor, since he finds out after this that the government had hacked into that drone to spy on all of his movements. That's why it was glitchy before, and that's probably where they heard the phrase the big three. Now the truck license plates are MKA5012 and 2011 EKH. Now 2011 EKH is actually the same tag number as the one on Wanda Maximoff's rental in WandaVision episode 8. 5012 might refer to an alt Marvel Comics universe where Cap is gone. Not sure about that one. But then Cap Walker drops in. Yeah, the composer Henry Jackman worked in a leitmotif to Captain America's theme. It sounds like Cap's promise from Civil War. Now, Bucky has to dodge the shield when Walker throws it. It looks like Walker did not care if he was going to hit Bucky in the face. And later in this fight, Bucky catches the shield with his normal hand, not his vibranium one, and then hands it back to Walker, a nod to his dramatic catch in Winter Soldier, and kind of a way of saying, hey, watch where you throw that thing, Cap. Before we continue, are you looking for an easy-to-use video editing software? Well, today's sponsor, Wondershare Filmora, is here to help. Wondershare Filmora 10 is perfect for both beginners and experienced video editors. It has description below to try it for free. There's a moment where Walker pulls out his gun and shoots a Flag Smasher. Now, I know Cap used a gun in World War II, and even Sam here uses Red Wing to fire on him, but it is just weird to see Captain America in the modern era of the MCU using a firearm on people. Sam and Bucky conclude these Flag Smashers must be super soldiers, which seems to come as news to the other guys.
And we're pretty sure it's one of the big three, so aliens, androids, or wizards.
There's no such thing as wizards.
All right, then it's aliens or androids.
Or super soldiers.
Shit, super soldiers for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ah, that look. So either Walker and Hoskins are really dim, or they know full well that the Flag Smashers are enhanced super soldiers because these two came from the same enhancement program. That power broker the Flag Smashers are ripping off could be the power broker who enhanced Walker and Hoskins in the comics, and interestingly later, Joaquin Torres, turning him into the next Falcon. Walker says he jumped on a grenade before like Cap, but Walker says he used a reinforced helmet. See, his training is a manufactured manufactured replica of the real thing that Steve went through because Steve jumped on that grenade assuming he would die. They bring up the GRC, Global Repatriation Council, an agency that manages resources for returning blip refugees. This could be what Thaddeus Ross now heads up, because here he could use this new team of super soldiers to keep the peace internationally, because we know Ross has been trying to build a team like that for a long time, back to the early days of the Incredible Hulk. And then maybe these flag smashers could have been past super soldiers who escaped when the blip happened and stalled Ross's plans. It's all connected.
They provide the resources and we keep things stable.
Violent revolutionaries aren't usually good for anyone's cause.
Usually save other people with the resources.
Ooh, sounds like Sam's drinking that flag smasher Kool-Aid. Bank loan denial reminded him resources are not fairly distributed. And then Walker says,
I'm just trying to be the best Captain America I can be.
how very U.S. Army, be all that you can be. But then he blows it.
It'd be a whole lot easier if I had Cap's wingman on my side.
It's always that last line.
By belittling Sam as merely Cap's wingman, he totally misunderstands the partnership between Sam and Cap. We also learn that Sharon Carter, who's also going to be returning in this show, was, like the rest of them, labeled a criminal for stealing their gear in Civil War. And then Sam meets this kid.
Hey, it's Black Falcon!
Just Falcon, kid.
My daddy told me it's Black Falcon.
Because I'm black and I'm the Falcon?
Well, technically.
So are you, like, Black Kid?
Yes, comics have a history of using characters' race in their name, like Black Goliath, which was later changed to just Goliath. But that this kid's dad called him Black Falcon reflects that many in this society are clearly not colorblind, which is something they find later with this awful encounter with the cops. So Isaiah Bradley, he was the Black Captain America, introduced in 2003. His history was erased. He was one of the 300 black test subjects, which we get a hint at in the end credits, and most of those test subjects died. It was really based on the way the government in real life gave black men syphilis in the Tuskegee experiments. Really f***ed up. Now in the comics, Isaiah's grandson is Elijah Bradley, who becomes a young Avenger Patriot, and the kid who answers the door is labeled in the credits as Eli Bradley, Elijah Richardson. And notice his reaction when Isaiah snaps.
I'm not gonna talk about it anymore.
That's sound design. I like it.
Yeah, in the Young Avengers comics, Eli's powers are later revealed to just be him juicing up with a mutant growth hormone. He actually does not have natural powers. So here, this might be him wishing he had that kind of strength. Isaiah wedges that tin in the wooden frame. It's actually similar to how Sam will later wedge the shield into the wood of a tree. It's kind of like for these guys, the legacy of Cap doesn't allow them to bounce off obstacles like Teflon. They just get stuck in it. Isaiah reveals the awful history of how the government treated him.
You know what they did to me for being a hero? They put my ass in jail for 30 years. People running tests, taking my blood, coming into my cell. Even your people weren't done with me.
And by Bucky's people, he meant Hydra, meaning Hydra might have derived their own super soldier serum cocktail from Isaiah's blood. After they get arrested, Walker gets Bucky out.
Bucky's not going to
So
follow the
fucked up,
strict
man.
schedule any longer.
That's such a good performance too.
The biggest douche in Baltimore? As when he threw that shield at Bucky's head, he does not care about Bucky's well-being, only how he can use him. And after leaving therapy, Bucky asks Dr. Rayner,
What was rule number 2 again?
Don't hurt anyone.
Yeah, Bucky needed this reminder as he goes off to face Zemo, another name on his amends list whom I'm sure he wants to hurt very badly. The Flag Smashers gotta scramble.
How much time do we have?
None. It's the power brokers, man.
Yeah, we saw the name Power Broker in the end credits. Power Broker is watching, and again, I think he is linked to that same whole history of human enhancement that Walker and Hoskins and Thaddeus Ross could be involved in. And we end the episode in this German prison facility that Zemo was left in, and he is in cell 2187, which is a nod to Star Wars. Cell 2187 was where Princess Leia was kept on the Death Star,
Nice.
and itself was a nod to the short film 2187 that inspired George Lucas to make THX 1138, and Star Wars keeps bringing this number back, like later Finn's designation was FN 2187. Mozart's Requiem plays, and then we see the chess set, which actually kind of echoes Magneto's imprisonment in the X-Men movies, but like that supervillain, this guy, I don't think will be in prison for much longer. Hey, to celebrate the series, we have our new latest
All right.
Obsession shirt, Anarchy.
Some very informative stuff. And I was kind of right, like a little bit about John Walker for a little bit. I remember hearing about this character, like, you know, Patriot, and then U.S. agent, but I didn't know if it was John Walker. Like, I know I've seen those designs before, but I don't know. like I said, I'm not all that familiar with this side of the Marvel universe as much as probably a lot of other people are, but this is really informative. So I feel like I was going down the right track, at least. Kind of in a way, went ahead and just like just straight up told me, you know, yeah, he's going to be kind of a dirty cap down the line. So yeah, I mean, he's got a really colored past too, and especially with that thing that happened to his family. Who says comics and especially Marvel doesn't get dark and bloody? Because look at that, there was like a bunch of bullet holes on a bunch of his family members and just everything. And then look at like the Punisher. Come on, guys, don't be like that. Anyway, I loved it. A lot of great information in here. I didn't know about Isaiah's Bucky, like his Bucky counterpart, or Elijah, his grandson. So that was interesting to know. It's like every one of these people has to have, like, that takes up this Captain America like moniker, has to have some type of Bucky. And it's kind of funny how that kind of keeps coming around. And I saw a couple people mention in the first episode in the comments that Torres becomes one of the Falcons later, who actually becomes half Falcon and is not using like a suit like Sam is. So yeah, I didn't know about the Power Broker or what those were. So that kind of fills that in. If they go that route, tying in Thunderbolt Ross and all this makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious to see if that all ties in and picks up. But yeah, really informative breakdown. Thank you so much, New Rock Stars. Eric, you are a miracle worker doing the heavy lifting for people like us. And guys, again, if you're not subscribed to New Rock Stars, go do so. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Sound off the comments. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. And huge shout out to Mandy Sherritt, Brian Karen, and Antoine Rodriguez, who are patron legends of the channel, and everybody else who's been supporting us. And you guys are the reason I keep on going. You know, I just dropped Invincible. Just check that out and added it to my rotation. Episode 3 will be out tomorrow if you're interested in that at all. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I can't wait for this last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Really, while I really enjoyed the first episode, it was mostly setup. But this last one was just like, that's the one that got my blood pumping. I need that episode 3. Let's get into this. Let's see Zemo and see how this whole thing unfolds. So I'll catch you guys in the next episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Take care, everybody.